Hello all, it's James Johnson, aka Sulphur Blade, and I'm here. It's early morning on election day. Polls will be opening in what? A few hours. And yeah, the crazy day is going to commence. Not that it is gonna really be finished at the end of the day. There's still many mail-in ballots in certain states that will be yet to be counted. But I think we'll have a good idea where we at least sit by the end of the day. Now, everyone these days is an election pundit. And if you watch the news, you see a very skewed forecast that basically Trump's lost. Everywhere you look, Trump is lost. And it's really, I don't want to say it's being fed by a narrative of fake polls through a narrative of fake news, but yeah, it's pretty much what's happening. So let's look at something realistic. What will realistically happen? So if we're looking at the map in front of us, we will see that you have the typical cadre of blue states, and I've been fairly liberal. I haven't broken up Maine because Maine actually can be split apart, just like Nebraska can be split apart. I'm just going to give all of Maine to the blue, and I'm just going to give all of Nebraska to the red, and it should work itself out. New Hampshire is supposedly quote-unquote a toss-up state this year. Blah, who cares? It's 4 points. It's up in the blue world. We'll just leave it blue. Arizona is typically solidly red, but you know, I could see where it could lean blue this year. So we will say it's likely red. Iowa, again, likely red. Ohio, again, likely red. Illinois, solid blue, will always be solid blue. Colorado, solid blue. New Mexico could go either way, but it's usually classically solid blue, so we're just gonna leave the classically solid blue. And we're gonna go with classically solid red, with the exception of I'm making Florida red, and Georgia could be considered a swing state, but I'm just going to make it red. And the reason for that is simple. Florida is not just a must-win; it's an absolute must-win. If Trump loses Florida tomorrow. If Florida's called early, Florida's almost always called early, right? Florida elections usually end up getting called fairly early on. And we will very quickly see which way Florida goes. If Florida is called blue, well, right there you can call it. The election is over at that point. Trump is lost. However, if Florida gets called red, well, then the election's on, and the rest of what we're going to talk about here is on the table at that point. So, as you can see, there's a pretty even balance of red to blue states off of the get-go. Biden's leading at 223, Trump's leading at 244, and that's because we're being generous with Florida and Georgia. But we're just going to automatically assume Florida and Georgia are red for the sake of the election being an election, right? If Florida is lost tomorrow early, well then we already know Biden's won. But if it goes past the Florida gate, then this is generally the map we're going to be looking at, right? Where we have the Midwest being the toss-up states, Pennsylvania being the key state, right? The Pennsylvania is like the crown jewel of all the states. It's supposedly how Pennsylvania goes, so will the election. That's how people are labeling this particular election. But I'm gonna say that I'm being bold here, and I'm being bold for a particular reason. I don't trust the election process in Pennsylvania. I think Trump is going to lose Pennsylvania, and not because Trump actually lost Pennsylvania. I think Trump will actually win Pennsylvania, but he will lose Pennsylvania through shady election practices. So I believe that the deck is stacked against Trump in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is going to go blue. All right, so now we're at a pretty much a dead heat. 243 to 244, Pennsylvania's blue. I'm also going to make another bold claim that the likely Arizona that we expect will go red is also going to go blue. All right, things aren't looking so good, but it's going to get better because North Carolina is going to go for Trump. So we're still looking at a pretty darn close election, right? Well, Wisconsin is going to break for Trump. Wow, it's getting neck and neck here. 254, 258. It comes down to Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, and Iowa. Iowa goes crazy. Iowa goes blue. Nobody saw it happening. Iowa goes blue. But then nobody saw this happening either. Minnesota is going to go red for the first time in many, many, many years. So we're at a 260 to 262 tie. Now what happens? Well, Michigan is going to go for Trump. And then Ohio is going to go for Biden. And Trump is going to lose the election because of shady practices that happened in Pennsylvania. Or Ohio goes blue and Trump wins the election. So I think we could see something along the lines of this. I think this is the best case Trump here, 295. I think Trump's biggest win, well, with Pennsylvania. We'll give him Pennsylvania. This is Trump's biggest win, 315. I don't think that's happening. Again, I think Pennsylvania is going to go the other way because I think the Democrats are going to cheat. And again, I feel like Arizona is not going to go our way. I believe we'll get 2 of the 3 Midwestern states. If we don't get Minnesota, then we're at 264. But we still win. If we don't get Michigan, we're at 270 to 268. We lose. So what's interesting here in this scenario is with the New England Maine situation, if Maine breaks one vote for Trump and New England breaks, or excuse me, if between them we could end up with a 270-270 tie. It is actually technically possible to have a 270-70 tie, which I think has some outlier of possibly happening. But I really doubt that Michigan is going to go blue. I'm pretty much going to say that there's a much better chance of Trump winning Michigan than there is of Trump winning Pennsylvania. And of the three states here, I think Minnesota's probably the least likely of the three. And this could be a very, very likely scenario right here that Trump wins. I don't think it's that far of a stretch. And so, yeah. I am going to call this one. This is my prediction for this upcoming election. This map right here. I feel best about. And I think it will sum up the year 2020 perfectly, because this will be almost as narrow of an election win as you can possibly have for Trump. And then there's going to be plenty of bickering in the courts. There'll be plenty of bickering in the cities. There'll be plenty of looting and rioting and yeah, it's we're not. The election is not going to save us from the insanity. The insanity is going to continue to rage on. And it's only because I don't think it's possible for Trump to get the blowout needed. For Trump to get the blowout needed, he would have to win something like this, maybe New Hampshire, just to put a little more salt in the wounds. Nevada, very unlikely, but possible. Yeah, something like that. If Trump doesn't get that type of win, it's gonna be it's gonna be crying. You're going to hear the whole chorus of the Electoral College is broken BS, just like you did in 2016. And let's be clear, right here, this map, 325 to 213, is an electoral college win that could yet still lose the popular vote, because California, New York, and Illinois have such a large amount of the population in Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. Which is why I like the Electoral College system. It doesn't give those giant cities more power than they should have. So I certainly like the fact that we have an Electoral College. But yeah, if Trump doesn't get this win, the 325 to 213, there's going to be crying. And so there's going to be crying. I mean, it's not going to be, we're not going to get this huge of a blowout. Nevada's unlikely. New Hampshire, kind of unlikely, to be honest. Minnesota hasn't gone red in a long time, though I think there's a shot at it this year. I don't think it's happening. Who else did I click off here to signify a blowout? Oh, Pennsylvania. Wait. Okay, I'm missing somebody. Who am I? Arizona? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, I think likely will go blue. But we'll get the other swing states that we need to go red, and we're going to have this narrow electoral college victory. Thank God. And then we are going to have to deal with the crazy fallout that's we're going to have to deal with in the next 4 years. Anyway, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade. This is my look at our electoral map and my uneducated predictions. This is more gut feeling type stuff. I'm not using any polls, nothing of that nature. I'm just going off of, arbitrary feelings. So let's see how well my arbitrary feelings come in to figuring out this election. Again, I'm James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade. This is my content. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If so, please leave a like and subscribe. And until the next time, all, peace.